Hello, fellow Whovians, and welcome back to Semajical Reviews, and everyone else. And all through the month of November, I am going to be reviewing Doctor Who content. So I'm going to call this little month project Who-vember, in honor of the show's 60th anniversary. Speaking of the 23rd, do you remember the 23rd of November 1963? That significant date in the history of the show before it had even begun? Why is that date so important? I'll tell you. This was the day that the very first episode of Doctor Who was broadcast on BBC One at 5:40 p.m. Children and adults of the day were introduced to the TV story An Unearthly Child, the very first story of Doctor Who's history. This story ran for 4 episodes between the 23rd of November 1963, or should I say between the 23rd of November and the 14th of December 1963. And it tells us the story. Okay, well, what's it about? Well, school teachers Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright are concerned and intrigued about the behavior of one of their pupils, a young girl named Susan Foreman, as she seems to know more than she's letting on for a girl from 1963. And their curiosity about Susan's home life leads to them following her home. Home, to Susan, is a junkyard. And in the junkyard stands a police box, or what looks like a police box. It has a rumbling, like a humming noise coming from deep within it. And this is where they walk into an eccentric old man. And they try to get an explanation from him about what's happened to Susan. Then they hear her voice coming from inside the police box. So they barge in to find themselves inside a large circular room. It is then that Susan and the doctor, as he calls himself, explain that this is where Susan lives. It's called the TARDIS, a name that Susan got from its initials, time and relative dimension in space, and the doctor is her grandfather. And then they explain to the teachers that this police box is a spaceship and also a time machine. Yes, of course Ian and Barbara don't believe them, so they abduct them and take them back to the Stone Age to prove that the TARDIS is a time machine. And on their first adventure, they land, obviously, as I said, in the Stone Age, where they get caught up in the Tribe of Gum, which is the 3-part story added to the end of this one, also known as 100,000 BC. And they get caught up in this tribe's inner lives, trying to figure out who murdered a member of the tribe, and like showing them how to make fire. Well, they already know, but because they have a member of their tribe who's known as the Fire Maker. Now, okay. So, that's the basic story of an unearthly child / 100,000 BC. Now, the story was written by Anthony Coburn for the BBC. And, well, we'll get into that later down the line. So what do I think of this story? I thought it was a good way to introduce the world of Doctor Who, the TARDIS, the Doctor, played expertly by William Hartnell, Susan, played by Carol Ann Ford, Barbara, played by Jacqueline Hill, and Ian, played by William Russell. These are our main characters. For this story and the upcoming several stories. So, what are your opinions of An Unearthly Child? Let me know in the comments below. For the next Who-vember review, I'm going to be, well, reviewing. You would think the next natural thing to do would be to review the Daleks, right? No, I'm not going to be doing that. No, no, subvert your expectations. One story per Doctor. So next, I'm going to review the second Doctor story, The Power of the Daleks. Patrick Troughton's first story as the Doctor. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a Semajical time. Hey guys, and fellow Whovians especially, and welcome back to Who-vember, the segment on Semajical Reviews, where throughout the month of November, I'm reviewing Doctor Who, and this is to celebrate the show's 60th anniversary. And that's every other day between the 1st and 23rd of November. Now, last time, I reviewed the very first story, to ever air An Unearthly Child. So now I'm going to jump ahead to the next story to debut the Doctor. Well, to debut the next, it's the second Doctor's debut, this one. It is, of course, The Power of the Daleks. Yeah, okay. Ah, dear. So, what's this story about? Well, actually, first of all, spoilers ahead if you haven't managed to see it yet. And of course, if you're wondering which story that is, it's the third story of season 4 in the classic run of the show, which is this story right here. Now, this is an animated reconstruction of every single episode. It's a 6-part story, which originally aired on BBC One between the 5th of November and 10th of December 1966. And it introduces Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor in his debut adventure, alongside his companions at the time, which were Ben and Polly. And it sees the Doctor, newly regenerated for the first time, and his companions going up against the Daleks. And it also faces, also shows the difficulty a companion would have adjusting to the fact that the leader of their adventures, the Doctor, has right in front of them, and out of nowhere, according to them, from their perspective, changed from an old man into a younger man. Now, this was the first time a regeneration had ever happened. This is the first post-regeneration story. So why aren't I covering the 10th planet in this episode? Well, I'm going to cover the actual regeneration stories, if I have time, after covering the debut story of each Doctor. So there you go. I hope that satisfies as an answer. But this 6-part adventure has the video of all of its original all the video of its original 6 episodes missing from the archives. So what that is over there, as I said, is an animated reconstructions of all 6 of those episodes, paired with the original audio which still exists. And that's thanks to some tech-savvy fans from the 60s who recorded it on reel-to-reel audio tape and since turned it over to the BBC. So now, what do I think of the second Doctor's debut story? Well, I think it is, without a doubt, absolutely fantastic. Wow. Of course, it's the second Doctor's debut adventure, and he has to adjust to his new body, and his companions have to adjust to the fact that the old man they used to travel with is now a younger man. So, and quick little side note, they didn't call the process a regeneration at this early stage in the show's history. It was just known as a renewal. So, that is that. Of course, this being a Dalek episode, a Dalek story, you'd have to assume it was written by Terry Nation, right? Yeah. There you go. It was. But, so, I said it's the perfect beginning for a new Doctor. But is it a perfect story? Well, no, it's not, honestly. Um, it's a good story, but it's not perfect. um, so that's it for this review. If you have different opinions on this story, let me know in the comments below. Next time, I will be reviewing John Pertwee's first adventure as the third Doctor. That would be Spearhead from Space. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a Semajical time. Oh, right. Okay, so Who-vember continues for his third installment here on Semajical Reviews. What is Who-vember? Well, we're in the 60th anniversary year of Doctor Who. November was the month the show originally began in 1963. And every other day leading up to leading up to and including the 23rd, I'm reviewing Doctor Who media. And for the third installment of Who-vember, I'm going to be reviewing the third Doctor's debut story, Spearhead from Space. Now, I don't have a DVD copy of the story, but I don't need one, you see, because this story, originally broadcast on BBC One, between the 3rd of January, well, yeah, between the 3rd and 24th of January 1970, the first full colour story of Doctor Who. Spoiler alert for those who actually haven't seen this story yet, but it takes place directly following the forced regeneration and exile to Earth of the second to the third, from the second into the third Doctor. Jon Pertwee steps into the role as the third incarnation of the iconic Time Lord. And this 4-part story deals with the battle between the Doctor, his companions, and, of course, a new race, a new group of villains. The first new villains to be introduced in the show since the Cybermen, who are, or in this case, since the Ice Warriors, maybe, or whatever. Who are these new villains? They are the Nestine Consciousness, the Living Plastic, the Autons. They make their first appearance in this story. And they are a menacing force to be reckoned with. Of course. The new companion is Liz Shaw. She's introduced in this story, but she would only be the third Doctor's companion for for season 7 and season 7 only. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, played by Nicholas Courtney, is also on hand, as are the rest of the unit team. That's right. And for the first story of the third Doctor's era, this is everything fans should want. It gives us the space dandy, and it gives us him fighting some new villains. Without the secrets of the TARDIS, he's based solely on Earth for quite a large chunk of his era, actually. And these characters, these villains, the Autons, would go on to get their sequel story in the following season, which I'm not going to review as part of this year's Who-vember. No, I'm not. No, sorry. Yes, I said this year's, because this is going to be a recurring segment for November on the show every year. So, anyway, so what do I think of this story as a whole? I think it's the perfect way to introduce the third Doctor, and if you're looking for a good jumping on story, this is one of those stories. What are your thoughts on Spearhead from Space? Let me know in the comments below. The next episode, or the next story I'll be reviewing as part of Who-vember this year, will be Tom Baker's first story, Robot. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a Semajical time. And watch out for those autons. Hi guys, and fellow Whovians alike, and welcome to Who-vember on Semajical Reviews. The part of the show where throughout November I'm reviewing Doctor Who content. So I've been going through the first stories of each Doctor so far, and I'm going to have to put a stop to that soon, so let's make this the last Doctor's first story review that I do for a while. The fourth Doctor's first story, Robot, which would have originally broadcast on BBC One in 1974, shortly after season 11 originally finished airing. This is a 4-part story, featuring Tom Baker in the role for the first time as the fourth Doctor, and joining him on his adventures are Sarah Jane Smith, played by Elizabeth Sladen, a carryover companion from season 11, and Harry Sullivan, played by Ian Marter, who joins him shortly after his regeneration. He's still friends with UNIT and still teams up with them. The villains here are a company who have a giant robot at their disposal to try and help conquer everyone. Now, this evil organization are the ones behind the bad plot lines of this story. Now, of course, I do own a copy of this story on Blu-ray as part of the Season 12 collection set, but I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm only telling you from memory the basic plot of the story. So, I normally give you the dates the individual episodes aired between. And, well, this would be a case in which a season broadcast straight after the Christmas season, leading up to New Year's. 28th of December 1974 to well, something like probably around the 6th or 7th of January 1975. I can't remember the exact dates. But based on the plot alone, what do I think of the story? Well, as the third post-regeneration story the show ever did have, it sets up the Tom Baker era really well, and sets us in for a 7-year long ride in the TARDIS with the Fourth Doctor. He doesn't keep the same companions throughout his entire run. Sarah Jane would go on to leave in the Hand of Fear in season 14. But anyway, we are getting too far ahead of ourselves. So, guys, what's your opinion of Robot? Let me know in the comments below. The next thing I'm going to review won't be the Fifth Doctor's first story, but it will be a Fifth Doctor story. Yes, I'm still going to review a Fifth Doctor story for the next episode, but just not his first one. The Fifth Doctor story I choose to review for the next episode will be Kinder. Pardon me. Pardon me. So, until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a Semajical time. Okay, fellow Whovians and fellow reviewers alike, it is time to continue with installment number 5 in Semajical Reviews Who-vember series. And rather than talking about the Fifth Doctor's first story, I went with a story in his first season, the first one to feature the villain of the Mara. That's right, it's Kinder, a classic Doctor Who story from 1982, which first aired during season 19. It features the Fifth Doctor and his companions going up against the evil snake-like villain, the Mara. And it's a snake-like villain because the Mara is actually a snake! Okay! Okay. And it actually manages to possess Tegan. Now, I forgot to mention, the principal cast of early Peter Davis, the principal cast of the story are Peter Davison, who plays the role of Doctor Number 5, Matthew Waterhouse, who plays Adric, Jeanette Fielding, who plays Tegan Jovanka, and is it Sarah Sutherland, is it? Who plays Nissa. I don't think Nissa actually appears or plays a large role in this story, actually. But here we are. They're up against Amara, who takes control of Tegan's mind and makes her do the evil bidding. Now, at this current point, I'm actually telling you from memory what this story is about. As I said, it's from season 19. It's in fact the third story of that season, if I'm remembering that rightly. And it's a good story. Not one of the best from Peter Davison's era, but not one of the worst either. And if you like a villain who's a snake in the grass, pardon the pun, this is the story for you. So if you have seen Kinder, the Doctor Who story, what do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Next time, I will be reviewing a story from Colin Baker's era. Which story is that going to be? Well, I'm not going to reveal it here. I'm going to leave it as a surprise. So, join me then on the 11th for that review. Until then, have a magical time. Okay, it's review time once again here on Semajical Reviews, and it's our 6th installment of Who-vember, where throughout this month of November I'm reviewing Doctor Who related content. And it's now time to review a story from the 6th Doctor's era. This specific story was a season-long story arc from 1986, and it was actually the swan song of the 6th Doctor. The 14-part epic Trial of a Time Lord. That's right. This was season 23 of classic Doctor Who back in the day. And as I just said at the beginning there, it is 14 episodes long, all broadcast in 1986. And this is when the show came back after an 18-month hiatus. Because it got graded. So what's this story about? Well, the Doctor's been pulled away to a trial by the Time Lords for his crimes against time, apparently, and he's being put on trial by the High Council of the Time Lords and the Valiard, who, using clips from previous adventures, tries to incriminate the Doctor of his tries to convict the Doctor of his wrongdoing. Even the Master pops in to join the trial. And as a result of the Doctor being taken out of time to attend his trial, Perry dies. Perry is his companion, by the way. Now, I forgot to mention that Colin Baker plays the 6th Doctor. Nicola Bryan plays Perry Brown, his assistant for this era. Well, and for the up until the early parts of this. Now, there are 4 segments to this story. And each segment has its own title. And yes, I do have a copy of the season on Blu-ray. So the story, as I said, is one long story arc, but the 4 segments of the story are well, it doesn't list them on there. I'll see it, silly me. Well, that's because as I said, it is just one story and it lasts the whole season, and it culminates. Now, of course, in one of the funniest outcomes yet. Now, the story also introduces new companion Melanie Bush, played by Bonnie Langford. But that is during the segment in which the Doctor's presenting evidence in his favour. But the evidence he's using is actually evidence from adventures he has yet to go on. So we don't get a proper formal introduction to Mel. She's just there. And the story basically plays out like a version of A Christmas Carol, past, present, and future. Well, the Doctor is actually being accused of committing genocide in the end. The murder of an entire race. Even though, well, I don't think I should actually carry on with the plot. I should actually let you watch it for yourselves. But all 14 of these episodes are awesomely epic, and Colin Baker was really done dirty by being axed from the role. He never got a chance to fully realise his version of the Doctor on screen. Because this shows him at his finest, this season does. It shows him at his finest. So what do I think of this entire story? Absolutely fantastic. So guys, what are your opinions of the trial of a Time Lord? Let me know in the comments below. The next story up for review will be one from Sylvester McCoy's era. And I think I'm going to actually give my take on the story Paradise Towers. That's next time. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have us a magical time. Ace! Hey guys, and fellow Whovians alike, welcome back to Semajical Reviews, where it's Who-vember, where I'm reviewing Doctor Who content. So, I've reviewed stories from the first 6 Doctors. Let's review one from the 7th, played by Sylvester McCoy, between 1987 and 1989. And the story I've chosen for review is Paradise Towers, the second story of season 24. So, what's this story about? Well, how's this for what the story is about? The Doctor and Ace? No. Sorry. The Doctor and Mal, even. Yeah, there we go. The Doctor and Mal arrive at this resort that's supposed to be for people to relax in, only to turn out that is being run by a totalitarian authority, which they then have to go up against. So much from the Paradise Towers, the resort, claims to be. Now, of course, this is a four-part story, originally broadcast in 1987. During season 24 of the classic run. I'm not gonna give away how it ends in case I interest you in watching the story after this, but my opinion of this story is it's okay. It's not one of the best stories in the classic era, not one of the worst, just okay. um, and granted, this is coming off an era of the show which wasn't liked very much, so. What's your opinion of Paradise Towers? Of course, we have the same actors playing our main characters here. Sylvester McCoy is playing the Seventh Doctor, and Bonnie Langford is Mel. Again, I ask your opinion of the story. You've heard mine. Let me know what your opinions are in the comments below. And the next story up for review. Well, the only televised Paul McGann story was the 1996 TV movie. So, that being the case, it's on to that next. Okay. So until then, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a Semajical time. Hey guys, and Whovians alike, welcome to Who-vember. Well, Symmetrical Reviews. Where is Who-vember? Through all the month of November, I'm reviewing Doctor Who media in celebration of the show's 60th anniversary coming up at the end of the month. So, guys, we're into 1996 now, where after 7 years of being off the air, Doctor Who returns to the screens for a feature-length TV movie made in conjunction with the BBC and America, starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. Sylvester McCoy returns at the beginning as the 7th Doctor. We see his regeneration into the 8th. and also introducing us to new companion Grace and Eric Roberts as the Master. Now, the movie begins on New Year's Eve 1999. The Doctor is actually sitting in the TARDIS reading The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. How appropriate. Okay. Considering how within the universe of Doctor Who, the story of the Time Machine was inspired by the Doctor appearing in the TARDIS. Okay. And he lands in New York City on New Year's Eve 1999, where he is gunned down by gang members and taken to the hospital, where he dies on the operating table and regenerates in the morgue. And this is where the adventure begins. For the Eighth Doctor, played by Paul McGann, he meets his companion Grace, who's a nurse at the hospital, and we, throughout the course of this adventure, see him trying to stop the Master from reaching the Eye of Harmony, which at this point is located at the core of the TARDIS. Okay, but that's not where it should be canonically. Okay, so... And we see just how diabolical Eric Roberts is as the Master. By the way, the Master's being taken to Skaro for his execution for his crimes against the universe. Why not just, have the Master's trial and execution on Gallifrey, which was still operational at the time the movie takes place, instead of having the Daleks preside over it? Okay. Now, this was the only televised story Paul McGann appeared in, and it could have started the show up again with Paul McGann as the Doctor, but it didn't. And alas, the show would be off the air again for another 9 years after this movie. So... But for what it is, it's a decent film. And bearing in mind it is a made-for-TV movie, it wasn't in cinemas. And I can't remember which American TV company helped them to make the movie, but I think Universal Pictures hold the distribution rights. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, this movie, along with most of classic Doctor Who, is now up on iPlayer as part of their Whoniverse collection. So guys, what do you think of this? If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below. next time I'll be reviewing a story from the very short-lived Christopher Eccleston era. That would be series 1 of New Who. You have to wait until then to find out which story I'm going to be reviewing. Until then, if you enjoy this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a Semajical time. Hey guys and fellow Whovians alike, and welcome to another episode of Semajical Reviews, where it's Who-vember. Yes, through all of this month, every other day that is, I'm reviewing a piece of Doctor Who media. And recently, I've been going through one story from each of the Doctors. So we've done the first 8 Doctors now. So as I was saying, the 1996 TV movie was Paul McGann's only story as the 8th Doctor, so we now jump ahead to the Christopher Eccleston era, which was Series 1 of New Who in 2005. And the story from his era I've chosen to review is The Unquiet Dead, the 3rd episode of that series of the show. And this stars alongside him Billie Piper as Rose Tyler. Basically, what happens, spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. Okay, what happens in this episode is the Doctor takes Rose back in time to Cardiff in 1869, where they end up getting thrown into a ghost story alongside Charles Dickens. And the ghosts of the story are actually the villains. They are known as the Gelth, and this would be their only appearance ever in the history of the show. And can I just take a rest break here to actually congratulate the BBC on coming up with this genius storyline. You send your main characters back in time to meet Charles Dickens. And he wrote ghost stories, by the way. And you have him getting caught up in a ghost story. That is just plain genius, my friends. Yeah, come on, BBC. Yeah, so... And this will be the first time they actually did this in New Who. But wouldn't be the first time they ever did it on the show. Full stop. Okay. So what do I think of The Unquiet Dead? Well, it's one of my favourite episodes from Chris's era. Of course, it was written by Russell T Davies during his first era as showrunner. And now, guys, I've told you what I think of this episode already. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. We move on to a 10th Doctor story for next time. And that story is Voyage of the Damned. Yes, one of the Christmas specials. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a magical time. Hey, fellow moviegoers, fans of anything in general, and Whovians alike, and welcome back to Semajical Reviews, where this month on the show is Who-vember, where I'm reviewing Doctor Who content. And we're now up to a story from the 10th Doctor's era, which ran between 2005 and 2010. This was David Tennant's first era as the Doctor, where he played Doctor number 10. And I've chosen one of his Christmas specials as the subject of this review. The 2007 Christmas special, Voyage of the Damned. Why this particular special? Well, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen it yet. Although if you're fans, and you would have seen it when it originally broadcast anyway. But yeah, you know, hopefully. Well, first of all, can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen Titanic? Yeah? Well, this is what you get when you take Titanic and turn it into a spaceship and you cross it over with Doctor Who. Yeah, there you go. It's basically Doctor Who does Titanic. I mean, just how do you describe it in a better way than that? After stowing away aboard the Titanic after it crashes into the TARDIS, the Doctor comes to learn that he is aboard a luxury space cruiser. It would just so happen to be modelled off and based on the Titanic, the most famous ship in the world. But the hosts aboard the ship, these robotic angel hosts, don't appear to have the information instilled into them as to why the Titanic was famous. Now, I'm sure, breaking off from the story review here, I'm sure we all know why the Titanic was famous, right? It was built to be unsinkable, which is ridiculous. And after it set off from Southampton in 1912 for New York, on the 14th of April to be precise, in that year, it struck an iceberg and tragically sunk. There were some survivors, but most people died on the ship. So now back to the story review. Because there's a little bit of a history lesson for you. Okay. Um, Now back to the story review. While he is learning about, while he's learning about the ship, he's meeting some of the passengers who he instantly befriends. And upon learning that he wasn't invited to be a passenger, that he was a stowaway, wow. Well, first of all, let's just say things almost don't go well for him. But they do in the end. The companion of the story is Kylie Minogue's character, Astrid Peth. Pardon me. And the Doctor is sent down to London. In the country UK. Ruled over by good King Wenceslas. Okay. um, I guess I should tell you who good King Wenceslas was then. Okay. Um, Good King Wenceslas was an ancient English king who the actual Christmas carol refers to. And the Feast of Stephen, another English king from back in the day, who looked out, good King Wenceslas looked out on the Feast of Stephen, but he was eating a pizza, deep pan, crisp and even. No, not really. um, so they're sent down to Earth with a credit card in Earth currency, which turns out to be worth 50 million and 56 space credits. £1 million, by the way, is worth 50 million and 56 space credits. Anyway, they're sent down to stop an alien race. Big surprise! And to stop the Titanic from crashing into Buckingham Palace. So we get a cameo from the Queen here. Obviously not the real Queen, because this is all just sets. So, now, this is actually one of my favourite of David Tennant's original Christmas specials, which is why I've chosen to review it here on Who-vember. It's Semajical Reviews. So what are your opinions of Voyage of the Damned? Yes, okay, the title is a play on the 1960 horror film Village of the Damned, obviously. um, so yeah, let me know what you think of this story in the comments below. Now guys, you would think that after this, I'd be reviewing a Matt Smith story. But I don't have much time left in Who-vember 2023 to do, because I was only going to cover up to the 23rd. By the time you're seeing this released, it will be the 19th. So, I'm sorry, that won't be done this year. Okay. So what I'll be doing next time is reviewing a curious little piece of Doctor Who media that came on during the wilderness years. No, I've already covered that. You'll see what it's going to be a review of next time. But until then, If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a magical time. Alonzi! Okay, guys, it's the penultimate episode of Who-vember 2023 here on Semajical Reviews, and as such, we are now going away from the doctors, from stories for each doctor, as I realised I wouldn't have had enough time to do that for Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, or Jodie Whittaker this year, due to doing these every other day. So, what am I going to be reviewing for day 11? Well, installment number 11 is going to be dedicated to something comedic. Something of a parodious nature. Yes, that's right. In 1999, for comic relief, the BBC decided to mock their own creation, Doctor Who, The Curse of Fatal Death, starring Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor. Really? Now that is interesting, because, let me tell you, the story of The Curse of Fatal Death right now. Spoilers for those who might not have seen this before, but the Doctor, played by Rowan Atkinson, and his fiancée, Emma, that's her name, I forget who plays her though, are planning on settling down and travelling through time and space. The Doctor contacts the Master, or the Master contacts the Doctor, and the Doctor asks him to come to the planet Tercerus to hear his big announcement. And this is where they get into their squabble, should I say, for this story, and start showing off to each other about who made it to the architect first to suggest this or that. And then they get the announcement. Then they get the announcement done, and as it transpires, the Doctor and his fiancée are planning to get married. The Doctor is retiring from his job as a Time Lord, and he's decided to settle down with his lady. Needless to say, the Master doesn't take this very well, and the adventure just spurs on from there. And the Daleks, okay, you wouldn't think the Daleks would be funny, but they are, because this is a spoof. And with the constant proclamations of, I will explain later, or we will explain later for the Daleks, and the Doctor constantly getting killed and regenerating, we C. Other actors take on the role for comedic purposes, such as Richard E. Grant, who steps into the role of the 10th Doctor for this story, and Hugh Grant, who steps into the role of the 12th Doctor for this story. And Joanna Lumley, who plays the 13th Doctor at the very end. Yes, okay, I know. Let's pause here for a moment. This was a comic relief spoof special, and it kind of predicted that the 13th Doctor would be played by a woman. Did the BBC know this was going to happen when they were making this comedy spoof special? Bearing in mind this was in 1999, and Jodie Whittaker officially took over as the 13th Doctor in 2017 when Peter Capaldi left. So... that's... okay, no, it was just for comedic purposes. And if you want to know the full cast, there is a Wikipedia page on it. And it's on IMDb. Anyway, it's a fun story, you should give it a watch. And for the last installment of Who-vember 2023, as it'll be going up on the day of the anniversary, I'm going to talk about the anniversary specials. Oh, yes, okay. The ones that we've had so far, that is. So... the ones that we've had so far, but they also have to be ones that I have seen. So... wow. I'm sorry, guys, but that means the Silver Nemesis won't be getting a mention because I haven't seen it. So... unless I have by then. Okay. Anyway. What's your opinion of the Curse of Fatal Death? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, a comment, share with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more great content still to come. And until next time, thanks for watching and have a Semajical time. Well, we've reached the end of Who-vember 2023 here on Semajical Reviews. And given that this will be up on the day of the actual 60th anniversary itself, I thought I'd shed the spotlight on the anniversary specials that I've seen. Yes, the ones that I've seen, and I've seen most of them. So, let's get on with it then, with no further ado. With the 10th anniversary special, The Three Doctors, which actually, despite being the 10th anniversary special, actually aired in 1972 at the beginning of season 10 of Classic Who. It has, spoiler alert, it has to do with the Doctor going off on a special mission from the Time Lords to conquer the evil, including the Master, and, well, this is just a brief summary. In the end, being rewarded with his freedom. And he does this teaming up with the first and second Doctors, played by their respective actors. William Hartnell one last time before he passed away. Yes, sadly he passed away in 75. And Patrick Troughton, not for the last time. So they all team up, and we're introduced to another, to fight the evil in the world, obviously, and Omega, another Time Lord, the one who in this universe is responsible for creating time travel. I think they have to come up against him, actually. So yeah, my memory of it may be a bit rusty because I haven't seen it in a while. Yes, as I said, despite being the show's 10th anniversary special, it aired at the start of season 10 in 1972. Rather than after the end in 1973. So, okay, now we jump ahead now to 1983, 11 years later, when the show's 20th anniversary special was broadcast, The Five Doctors. Now, I should point out that this was a 90-minute special, whereas The Three Doctors was 4 episodes of normal length. So, yes, this was a 90-minute special, teaming, well, really, it's called The Five Doctors, but William Hartnell had passed away at the time, so they got Richard Herndl to play the first Doctor, and he's paired up with Susan again. The second Doctor returns, is still played by Patrick Troughton, and he's teamed up with Jamie McCrimmon. Yes, I know. We all thought that guy had his memory of the Doctor wiped. Okay. Obviously, the third Doctor has Joe Grant. No, she doesn't. No, he doesn't, sorry. He doesn't, no. I think it's Sarah Jane Smith, actually, who helps him. He teams up with. Um, and the fourth Doctor's not in it except for stock footage of Shada. And the companion at the time was Romana. So, but played by Lala Ward. And obviously, the fifth Doctor's companions at the time were Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric. So, no, actually, not Tegan. She left, didn't she? Turlo, Nyssa, and Adric. Sorry. um, And yes, so Carol Ann Ford returns as Susan. Been a long time since we last seen her in the show. And Fraser Hines reprises his role as Jamie, with Elizabeth Sladen stepping back into the role of Sarah Jane Smith. You got to give Doctor 3 one of his old companions, right? Of course, the Brigadier's there as well on the side of the Third Doctor. And the Master is just one of the many villains they have to face throughout the story. The Daleks and the Cybermen, I think, are there as well. Really, it's just so much going on in this special. It's too hard to describe. So, it's a good special, though. I forgot to say what I thought of the Three Doctors, so going back to that for a moment. That was a good special, too. Okay, now, for the show's 30th anniversary in 1993, this was done as part of Children in Need that year. A special crossover event between Doctor Who, yes, Doctor Who, and EastEnders, Dimensions in Time. And it saw multiple of the classic Doctors returning, played obviously by their same actors. Tom Baker returns as an elderly version of the Fourth Doctor, calling for the help of the other Doctors. Which other Doctors are they? Sylvester McCoy returns with Ace. So that's the Seventh Doctor. The Sixth Doctor returns, as does Perry. And the Fifth Doctor as well. And I believe with Tegan. And obviously Carol Ann Ford returns again as Susan. And the companions get mixed up between the Doctors. So you get Doctors who have never met certain companions before teaming up with them. And there's a whole myriad of classic villains. We got the Rani coming back. There's a renegade female Time Lord, so Time Lady. And we also have other such villains that we've seen over the years. There's, again, in this short 15-minute, yes, 15-minute, in this short 15-minute Children in Need event, they packed so much in. It was so weird. Again, it's a bit indescribable. Okay. But then Doctor Who can be a weird show in itself sometimes, in and of itself. So it's an okay special. But me, not exactly the best thing. Now, of course, the last of these anniversary specials I can talk about would be the one that came on 10 years ago, the Day of the Doctor, for the 50th anniversary in 2013. Saw Matt Smith returning as the 11th Doctor. Obviously, actually, he was in the role of the 11th Doctor at the time. His era hadn't ended yet. But we saw the return of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. And Billy Piper as Rose Tyler, but as like this weird spirit thing. And we were also introduced to John Hurt as the War Doctor, as he teams up with his future selves to fight the Zygons, who are the primary villains in this story, and of course, Unit. No, they're not evil. They're helping to fight the, yeah. So this actually takes place across two different time periods. Oh, I forgot to say the Time Lords are in this as well. Yeah. And we see a glimpse of the 12th Doctor at the end of the episode. But the two time periods this is set between are the then present of 2013 and 1562, the time of Queen Elizabeth I, 4 years into her reign, as a matter of fact. And the 10th Doctor almost, yeah, that. A subplot that doesn't really have any place in Doctor Who. And another big part of the plot is the Doctor's trying to save Gallifrey. Spoiler alert. And this is actually the best of the specials I've seen so far. And I'm not just saying that because it's the only one so far I was alive to see as it broadcast. Okay. um, it truly is the best of the specials they've done so far for anniversaries. And they did a 3D cinematic showing of it as well. So, what do you think of any of these specials that were talked about in this episode? Let me know in the comments below. And just go forth in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Goodbye, viewers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And have us a magical time.